Hey everyone, so if you browse Twitter a lot, you see a lot of suggestions, and I've come across some really good ones and some not so good ones, but in this video I'm gonna give you the best suggestions that I've seen on Twitter or on other social media over the years for Welcome to Bloxburg. Now, it is really hard to credit because a lot of people give the same suggestions and then you just read that and scroll away, so it's very hard to give credit, so I'm sorry if there is no credit in this video, but I've seen it somewhere. Number one, a donation game pass. Now, a donation game pass, I know like it sounds that Bloxburg is greedy and that they want money and everything, but the reason that they limited donations for non-premium members to 10,000 and premium members to 50,000 is because there are a lot of players abusing donations. For example, have an alt account where they do hacks on and then donate to their main account. Happens a lot, that's why we had to limit the donations, sadly. So yeah, that's kind of sad. But if it was a game pass, and I see that as the only solution as well, so that was a really good suggestion. If it was a game pass, let's say 200 Robux, you wouldn't just buy it on an alt account, you wouldn't just buy it on like new accounts if you constantly get banned for hacking. So a game pass that increases the donation limit, let's say you are building with a friend or you do have a second account that you play on normally for any reason, you're a content creator for example, you want to play just on normal servers without getting recognized. A donation game pass would allow the freedom to, for example, donate up to $1 million without having it limited, without like a massive cooldown if you donate a lot. So that's a really good suggestion and I like that. Then number two, and this one would be a lot harder to implement, but it is nice to dream, is if you have a neighborhood, the ability to use multiple plots and their game data in your neighborhood. So let's say you join a neighborhood, you select a few plots where you want to load on, all those plots will be reserved for you. And so everyone who joins your neighborhood will not be able to load in on those plots that you have reserved for yourself. And you get all of the plot data for those plots. So let's say you want to do a super detailed build on one plot, you just claim, let's say 4 plots, do a super detailed build on the plot that you're working on, have up to 400% plot data if you have, for example. I hope I'm making sense. And then you wouldn't be able to load that into a normal server or a public server because that would be reserved for your neighborhood. Or if you just want to do a massive build, like a massive town or something, and you want to connect 4 plots, like the back row behind Pizza Planet, you want to connect all of those plots together, make a massive town and claim all of those. That would be really cool to see. That's a really good idea as well, actually, and I think it would stimulate creativity and more broke people in Bloxburg. Then number 3 is an option to walk slowly. So right now, if you press shift, you can sprint. Having it the other way around, where you could choose to slow yourself down and walk slowly, would be a good idea. Now, the reason I saw this for, and this was actually a really good suggestion from that person, sorry again for no credit because I just scroll through and don't remember it. The reason that we need the ability to walk slowly is so that if you are in a roleplay, you don't run over all of the furniture, you don't run over the kitchen table. If you're cooking, you don't run over the entire kitchen. If you were to be able to walk slowly like you are in the gravity room, it would just look a lot more normal. Everything would look a lot more normal and you wouldn't just sprint through houses and like run over everything and ruin everything, and it would just be more natural in a way, and I really think that would be beneficial to the game. Number 4 is a more dreamy one, and that is roller coasters on plots. Now, I've seen this suggestion and it also inspired me when I saw the water slides, like with the water slide update. I know that one wasn't very well received. That made me think, like, we have water slides. Would there be a way to add like a cart on a track where you can have like a roller coaster through your plot, or maybe a minecart that you can drive yourself on a track where, I don't know, it would just be so much fun in build mode if you had like some type of track where you could put a cart on, whether you drive it yourself or whether it's automatic with a chain lift or something, just to make some scenery that you can drive through, like mountains and stuff like that, or just a roller coaster on your plot, because a lot of people are making theme parks, amazing looking theme parks. But yeah, that's dreaming, but I think it's a really good suggestion and it would be a lot of fun. And maybe like a tiny Ferris wheel that you can place on your plot, just like the one on the beach, but just a little bit smaller, maybe for toddlers. I don't know, I think those are fun little additions, especially for people who make towns and stuff. Or a roller coaster that goes through a town. That would be cool to see as well. The number 5 is more so based on other roleplay games, so not so much for builders, but I think it would benefit roleplayers in that sense, is adding your age to your account. Not your real age, but your roleplay age, and maybe like a nickname that you can put next to your name or like replace your name with. So I see a lot of no Noahs, if you could just be a Noah and you could set your age next to it like 16, you would immediately turn into a teen. You wouldn't have to go to the closet, you could just set your age. If you set your age to 5, you would turn into a toddler. If you set it to 7, you would turn into a kid. Stuff like that, automatically changing based on your age. You can set aging on, where if like, let's say 3 days go by, you age a year. And if you do a longer role play, you just kind of like age up from a baby to a teen or whatever. I think it would be more organic and it will look good, and you wouldn't have to go to your closet, and ages would be based on actual age in the game. I think that would definitely help. And like just seeing the age of a player that you're role playing with at their name tag and having their own personal name tag as well. Maybe with like grandson if you are looking at them, but if someone else is looking at them, it's like brother or something like that. Just above your name tag, I think that would be a tiny addition, but a really good one. Of course, I would set my age to 120. And then next up is a blueprint builder. Now, this one would be really useful for people who like to build big houses but don't have a lot of money, or like to plan out before they actually spend a ton of money on a build. Now, blueprints basically are like a shell that you could build that doesn't cost any money, or maybe very little. We already have the fences that you can place on the floor for marking out your floor plan, which are really cheap. If we had that for walls furniture, where it's see-through when you go in build mode, but you can't see it outside of build mode, and you can just kind of like play around with your layout, with your furniture, how you want it. If you want to make a dent in the floor, stuff like that. That sounded really wrong, but I guess you know what I mean. If you want to place a sofa somewhere, that you can like place blueprints of it on your plot for very little money, like $3 a piece or something like that. And then later, when you have the money enough, or when you want to finish it, or you're happy with what you got, you can add in the real furniture and replace the blueprint with the real furniture, so that you don't lose money while trying some shapes and some different basic shape stuff that costs millions of dollars if you don't do it right. And I would also eliminate the question for a sandbox game of Welcome to Bloxburg, where everything is free and you don't have any money. And then lastly is different types of plots. What I see most of all is boats and campers that you can decorate yourself, at least the inside, where you have a little piece of plot on the inside that you can decorate so that you can drive around with your house, basically. Maybe a tiny house on wheels. And I think that would also really help the game, and this is one that I've wanted for so long as well. I think it would really help the game in a way where if you could drive to your friend with a camper and you live in that camper, that you decorate it yourself, let's say a 4x3 or 5x3 grid inside, you could already build quite the nice tiny house with that, and you could have everything that you need to get your moods up. However, the concern with that is that you park at Pizza Planet and you do deliveries, that you can get your moods up way faster because you parked right next to Pizza Planet. But it would be really nice to see that. Boats and campers that you can decorate. Definitely love that idea. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any more really cool suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. I love to dream. I love to think about what the future of Bloxburg could be. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe.